So, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Martin Karwana. I'm a project manager by profession. I'm currently holding the program manager position at YOWPSUD. YOWPSUD is Youth and Women for Peace and Sustainable Development. We are an organization based in Mombasa, working along the coast, northern Kenya and some part of Nairobi. But currently we only have programs in the coast region, specifically Kwale, Kilifi and Mombasa. But we are looking to upscale to other areas as well. Yes.
Thank you very much. Ahmed, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Tell us what you do at YOWPSUD.
My name is Ahmed Siad. I'm the founder and board chair YOWPSUD. Na pia mimi ni mwanabiashara. Yeah.
All right. What is YOWPSUD in a nutshell?
YOWPSUD, I think people struggle to really dissect the name. The youth and women. We are youth-based and we are also women-based, with our executive director being a youth as well as being a lady. And I know being a youth and women-led organization, it plays a key role in issues of women and also issues on youth. Giving a back history of YOWPSUD, was established in 2010 by our CEO here. He's also the board chair. I think I forgot to mention that. He established the organization back then in 2010. And we work in 5 thematic areas. So we have education, we have health, we have governance, conflict and peace building, and economic empowerment, as well as environment and sanitation. Why these thematic areas? We have currently narrowed down to like 3 that we are working currently on. That is on economic empowerment, environment and sanitation, and conflict and peace building. That is where our strength is, because from myself, I have a background in peace building and conflict management through my project management skills. That is where I have those skills. And then in economic empowerment is because youth and women are the most affected by some of these issues economically. Looking at from the onset of COVID, the most people who are affected were youth and women. Why? Because when most of us already didn't have jobs as young people, and we have already struggled to get employment, and having other issues like we have crime, we have issues on violent extremism, we have issues on drugs that affect us most. So for us, we aim to now build the youth person to be able to identify himself. So we have an approach that we use, that we help to identify the youths that we work on the preventative, that I would want to mention first. We work on the preventative. We don't work on countering, we work on preventing. So we identify youths, those are affected or might be affected by some of these issues. We train them, we give them the skills that they will help them to build, to be able to be self-aware, because most of us are not self-aware. We don't even know some of our talents. Actually, if you ask, most people do not know what their talent is as young people. So with those skills, self-awareness, we have trauma healing support. You're able to identify yourself as a person and know what or which path do you want to take in terms of your career. Then we also provide support for those who maybe dropped out of school or maybe got to Form 4 and want to proceed to do other courses. Then we are able to support, but we support on a basis of 70-30%, because we also want that person to own the process. So we will be able to finance you 70%, and then you're able to finance yourself 30%, so that you have that ownership of that skill that you want to pursue. So we work closely with the Ministry of Youth Affairs. The regional director is called Charles Hayako, who has been very instrumental in terms of helping the youth. And we also work with private stakeholders. We also have worked with Safaricom, MasterCard Foundation. These have helped to build the youths with the skills. So we're also looking at working with more stakeholders, bringing more stakeholders on board so that they understand what the youths are facing and they're able to take up, before the youth decide, this is what I want to do, you have to look at the market space and where your passion is. Because maybe, for example, for you, you're being a radio presenter, that is where your passion is. So there are other people who would want to also share to know how does radio work, or where can I pursue that initiative, or can I pursue that course on radio journalism. So helping to link people, the private stakeholders and the youth, with these opportunities, so that once the private stakeholder understand what the youth need and also the needs of the companies, then they're able to link them, and we are able to curb some of these issues, because now the youth will be very active. They'll not do drugs, they'll not be involved in crime, because they have something that is pushing them. They're able to earn a living.
Well, I would just like to take you back a little bit now to Mr. Ibrahim. As the founder of this foundation, what really pushed you to focusing on the youth and women?
One, I am a youth ambao naangalia mbali sana. Napenda kuzungumza lugha yao because wengi wakuzungumza Kiswahili, right?
Yes.
So nikiwa campus, I was a leader, student leader pia na Islamic Association. So nimeona vijana wanapitia mengi silently, So nikaona I think tuje na kitu ambao itasaidia tukitoka pale. Na one thing, wajua, ile kuleta vijana pamoja ambayo ni legal, ni kuwa na registration ama kuwa na organization.
Yeah.
So nikatoka pale nikiwa na certificate ya NGO board, kutoka NGO board. A guy from Western, rafiki yangu, aliniona akaniambia, wewe ni kama kiongozi, kwa nini usifanye kitu kai, Yada Foundation?
Yes.
Na yeye alikuwa mkubwa katika Safaricom. So nikamwambia sasa nitaanzia wapi? Unaona? Akaniambia twende NGO board, tuka network, network is very important kwa vijana pia wajue. At the end of the day tukaja na certificate yetu, tukaanzisha organization. So mainly that's why ukiona kwa website inaandika Nairobi. Hapo ndio sasa ile idea ikaanzia, but tukafocus sana cause of drug abuse na vijana pia. Unaona kwa siku hizi vile uko kwa social media, vijana mtu amesimama lakini wanalala, sijui ni ugonjwa gani ya drugs, but lazima tuzichambue, tuzijue hizo. Then those are the thematic areas. Robin Martin amezungumzia, na tukafocus on those ones because youth and women are very passionate about them. Being a youth na pia wamama pia wanatengwa sana na PWDs. So it's economic empowerment and other programs ndio lazima tuanzishe. Wajielewe, self realization, self awareness, at least tutembee pamoja sote.
I understand that as much as you're trying to be philanthropic on the matters of the youth in Mombasa, there are some challenges that you face, and you mentioned about financing these business programs for these youths.
Yes.
Now I wanted you to talk about financing these business ventures and the problem that comes mostly in this region, that is of drugs and the consistency of these youths after you've started these businesses for them.
I'll give an example of a program that we implemented in just a nearby county here, Kilifi, that was targeting Mtwapa and Majengo area. So we identified almost 210 youths, but we were doing them in cycles. The first cycle was around 70 youth. So among the 70 youth, of course, not all of them were able to benefit from these because you'll understand as you progress training these people, youths needs change. And being a youth, I know what I wanted to do 5 years ago is not what I want to do today. Our needs change depending on the people that we interact with, and also the issue of peer pressure. So we are able to facilitate some to start businesses, because you'll find in that category of youth between 18 and 35, there are some of them who are parents already. They are youth parents, but you cannot consider them as, tuwezi watenga juu they are parents. So they are still youths, but they are parents. So if you tell that person to go back to school, it will be very difficult for that person to go back to school, because he already has a family that he needs to feed, or she needs to feed. So in that perspective, you focus on the needs of that person at that time. What is it that will bring money to his family for him to earn a livelihood. So he'll choose business. Okay, if you look at between 18 and 19, those are just finished Form 4, so they are not quite sure what they want to do. So helping them identify what they want to do in terms of the courses or what is their passion, and then linking them with these institutions. So there has been Blue Economy, which has been quite a topic since the former regime of Uhuru Kenyatta, and it has quite financed some of these youths to join TVETs, the vocational training institutes. That is, there is Kisauni, it's Polytechnic vocational training, and there is Mwajuni, I'm not sure, Mwajuni in Kilifi, and there's also Mtongwe, where some of these youth have been able to finance to participate in some of these maritime courses, and then they are linked to businesses. So we had what we do, we have a progress tracker for each youth. We identify, has he attended or has she attended all the trainings that he or she is required to attend. That is trauma healing. Then we have trauma or psychosocial support. Then we have those economic trainings, entrepreneurship, those ones. Then those of self-awareness, being able to identify what is it that you want. Because you'll find some of us youths, like using some of us because I'm also a youth. Yeah. You'll find that most of us have childhood trauma that maybe has affected the way that we have grown up, and some of the youths are quite close up. They don't talk, so they shift to drug use because that is where his consolation is. He's trying to postpone the issues that he's facing, but through this trauma healing, he's able to open up and face those challenges that he did not face in time, and he's now be able to move on. Now, upon linking with some of these college institutions, we facilitate, I said 70%, and he has to give 30%. He has to get 30%. We also involve parents in this process. I forgot to mention, we involve parents because we also want parents to have that ownership of this process. Once now the parents have ownership, when it comes to that contribution of that 30%, they are willing to support these youth to be able to pursue whatever course that they want to do. And after that, now we link them to the private stakeholder, the network that we have of private stakeholders, so that they are able to now earn a living. And now you see that from the start of the project to the end of the project, their thinking has shifted. You find most of their thinking has shifted because now you see the life that I was living was not a good life, but as now I'm able to provide to my siblings and also provide to my parents, and I've also, some of you even started families. We had even incidences that some of them met in the project, a lady and a guy, and as a success story, they got married. So that's a success story. So they were able to face the challenges together, and then they have seen each other grow, and now they have decided this is the life that we want to take.
Yeah, sure. Interesting conversation here from the representatives from Youth and Women for Peace and Sustainable Development, YOWPSUD. Make sure that you also give us your comments through our social media pages, that is Blue Radio KE on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah, and of course you can continue listening to us at www.blueradio.co.ke and send in your messages, and Charles, we will be glad to read them out. My name is Diana Umpoy.
This is the Kenyan Force. We take a short break. We'll be back right after.
Yes, of course, and it is 30 minutes past 9 a.m. This is the Breakfast Vibe Show. This is the Blue Radio, of course, the home of great conversations and great playlists. Kama vile Alanda amekuwa akizipeperusha here and there. And of course, he will be doing that in a minute. But now let's get back into the conversation where we are talking about the opportunities for youth and women under YOWPSUD, and we were having a discussion earlier about some of the thematic areas that YOWPSUD focuses on. Now, the youth have a lot of challenges. Yeah. So one of them is maybe lack of information and knowledge, and especially in AGPO. And we'd first love to know, unajua pia kuna youth pale anashanga, what is that? Maybe we start from what that is and why the youth need to delve in that.
Yes. AGPO, as you call it, always call it AGPO. AGPO is access to government procurement opportunities, which is founded in the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Article 227, on the fair, equitable, transparent, and cost-effective public procurement of goods and services. And also on the affirmative action, Article 55 on Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. This was launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013, and this is meant to benefit youth, women, and people living with disability. So there is an allocation of 30% of all government procurement opportunities that is targeted to only youth, women, and PWDs. So if you are not in that category, you are not able to qualify for that tendering process in terms of in the county government, the national government, but also in the private sector. But I'm not so sure. There is no research that shows that private sector has been able to adopt that 30% for youth, women, and PWDs. Currently, we have a project that we are running in Kwale on this. It's a small project, a 7-month project funded by Kenya Community Development Foundation, KCDF, which is focusing on enhancing citizen participation on accountability and governance. That is now where we narrowed it down to access to government procurement opportunities. Why? Because most of the youths do not know that there is a 30% of procurement opportunities that are set out for them. So if you look at the publications from the county government, from the national government, you'll find some tenders are assigned to youth or women or PWDs in that categories, and there are also open tenders that anybody else now can apply.
Yeah.
So other than that 30% that is set out for youth, women, and PWDs, there is also open tenders that also youths can venture into. But the uptake of these 30% has not been quite good. You'll find, like, for instance, in Kwale, in a research that was done by TISA, that is the Institute for Social Accountability, women are the most that benefit from this 30%.
Yeah.
Why? I think youths, we don't have that push for us to apply. I think because the process is quite bureaucratic and it takes time.
Yeah.
And also getting financing as a youth is quite difficult. As a youth, you don't have finances. You don't have a job. You don't have assets that you can secure a loan with to finance some of these tenders.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the key challenges. As my colleague here, who has been in that sector and has also benefit from that process, will also share some of the challenges that that the youth face. Mostly the youth, because women are quite hands-on in terms of these opportunities. They have set up groups and they have set up companies, and they are able to deliver some of these tenders and also financing. Other than AGPO, there are other affirmative action funds, like we have Youth Fund, we have GAF, we have Women Fund. Also, you look at these funds, most youths do not want to venture into this. Why? Or even if they venture into this and then they are given the money, you'll find sisi vijana ni wale tu tugawane hii pesa alafu tutajua venye tutalipa. But that was not the intention of that money in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think there are also challenges, but I think it's because there is no skills. You have never run a business. You want to run a business. You have the money. What do you do with the money? Before now you start even thinking about how to maneuver business. Unaona hii pesa kwanza, acha tupige sherehe and then
tutajua venye tutalipia baadaye.
That has been the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of AGPO, you find that Youth Fund finances, there is a financing for tenders. So if you are youth, umepata tender na county government, you can go to Youth Fund and they'll be able to finance. Now, the challenge that has been there is you'll find that most youths, once they have been financed by Youth Fund,
Yes.
they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. Now, when he gets another tender, he refused to pay the first one. Youth Fund will not be able to finance you again, because umeingia kwa blacklist. The same with banks. But we are trying to see in a way that we can help. There is a case study in Nakuru where if Youth Fund finances you, then you have a joint account with Youth Fund. So that once the tender has been paid, Youth Fund will take their share, and then you'll take your profit, and it helps you grow as a person. But other than that, as he comes and talk about the experience on Agbo, the importance of this is economic inclusion, because as youths we have been left out for so long. We are seen as the problem. And being seen as the problem, and I also feel that sometimes we have also victimized ourselves and also seen ourselves as the problem. Na tukakubali hiyo situation tuko, this is where we are at. So if you tell a person to apply a job currently, same county government advertise, basi mtu amesema it's formality tu, watu wako na mtu wao. But what does it cost you to try?
Well, we'll get to understand that better, but I understand that apart from being the founder of this YOWPSUD, you are also a beneficiary of AGPO. Maybe you can give a perspective as a business person.
Yes, thank you. As a youth, lazima we have to try anything, everything. Because that's why we are here, to share the experiences and the challenges. As our project manager put it, Act 227 requires that public procurement be carried out in a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost effective. But how fair it is, how transparent, kama kijana nilipitia mengi a lot before nifike hapo. Most of the challenges vijana wanapitia ku access AGBO, that's access to government procurement opportunities, ni one, lack of information. Diana pia amesema, but lack of information generally for all, but specifically ukiangalia on registration process, procedures, utaanzia wapi, utaregister kampuni vipi, niende wapi, what are the requirements, documents ambazo zinatakikana. I think those are the challenges ambazo wana face. Kama kwa town kubwa kama urban setup, ama wana face challenges kama hizo, na tuko na gadgets hizi, masimu na nini. What about those areas ambazo ni rural areas? Like hii project tunafanya Ukunda Diani, vijana wengi bado hawajaelewa the 30% opportunities ambazo ziko. Na project manager anasema wakati mwingine pesa za regeshwa kwa ajili ya hayo. Information hatuna, na government pia ni kubwa, wanaachia civil society ama hizo gaps ziko, ama media kama nyinyi mfanya awareness na amplify your messages na voices. So challenge kama documentation hizi unazipata wapi, utajaza vipi, na ukifika after company. Kuna jamaa jana aliniandikia message akaniuliza, hebu angalia nisha register company, kuangalia ni ile tu jina, ameenda kwa cyber, then nikamwambia bado naweza pata kazi, nafurahia ni kijana, nataka na hamu ya kufanya kazi, but bado kuna requirements. Umepata AGBO certificate, umepata compliance, umepata PIN, KRA PIN, companies exemption, compliance, tax compliance, all those requirements. Akaniuliza utapata wapi? Siku hizi government pia amejaribu, ile county government na national government. So kuna ile huduma center pale. Nenda huduma center utasaidika. So I hopefully atasaidika zaidi. So then after registration, so what? Ni kutafuta kazi. Wasichana wa mama wanajituma sana, unaenda ofisi hii, unaambiwa leo rudi, kesho unaambiwa hakuna kazi. Ziko, lakini huyu jamaa anakuangalia vizuri. Kama kijana unachoka haraka sana, haitakani hivyo. Unatakana ile resilience, unajituma, unaenda tena, unatafuta. Hii kitu kama utakosa leo, umepata network, umejuana na huyu procurement, na umejuana na yule msichana pika chai pale na kupatia information, unakutana na fulani, So networking pia ni muhimu kwa hiyo. So documents kujaza pia it's not that youth friendly. Na ni lugha ambazo kuelewa ni ngumu kwa vijana kusema kweli. Hizo mabqs, wanaangalia ni engineering thing, but sasa kusimplify, I think vijana ama procurement department wawe ile the bidding system pia waangalie, na waangalie documentation iwe siku technical vile, yani simplify, wajaze haraka haraka wapeleke. Challenge nyingine ni lack of financing capital. Ni kweli umepata kazi LSO, LPO, utapeleka wapi? Ukipeleka kwa youth fund, women fund, nakwambia lete security kwa wapi, title deed. Ukijana ameanza sahi kazi, mama natafuta, utatoa wapi title deed, utatoa wapi kitu kama logbook? So ni ngumu. The end of the day unakuwa umekufa moyo, utapata ile ile changamoto unapitia ni nyingi zaidi, the system is very rigid kutafuta kwa funding. So the government ndio huwa natupatia financial support na nini, but pia hizo process ziwe zitolewe hizo challenges zote, at least kama amesema apewe without hizo restrictions, unaona. Kuna ile trust, si kijana ati ukimwona tu kijana huyu ni criminal ama huyu atapotea na pesa zetu, amba ile trust tuwe nazo between the government and state actors na actors zote, yani tuje pamoja na state.
Yeah, just so, briefly before tuende break, kama unaweza kwa ufupi tu explain your duration yenyewe you took from registration to getting your first nini.
Those days kitambo ilikuwa ngumu. Before huduma center and those registrations ni ngumu, but nowadays ni very simple, si ngumu vile. Ukienda huduma unaweza pata kama ni agbo certificate in a week umepata. Registration nowadays ni haraka sana, online thing. So kwangu ilikuwa changamoto mkubwa sana wakati ule. Nilianza kufanyia mtu construction work, supply na nini, nikajua hapa na pale, then nikaanza registration. Ilikakaa 2 companies, moja inaitwa Zambil Traders na ilingine ni Pal Global Communications.
Okay, thank you. Tukirudi toka getting back to the organizational sector. Yep, and then we got to understand more about YOWPSUD. Right about now, it is 42 minutes into 9 a.m., which marks 18 minutes to top of the hour, which mark 10 a.m. East African time. My name is the Kenyan Frost.
My name is Dana Omboy.
And this is the Breakfast Vibe. Yep, the song is Ongeza Volume by Nameless, playing right here on your favorite online radio. This is the Blue Radio, the Breakfast Vibe, as it is the show. You hang out here with the Kenyan Frost. And of course,
Dana Omboy.
And the representatives from YOWPSUD. Yeah, tulikuwa tukuongelea hapa hivi machangamoto moja mbili zenye watu wana face hapa hivi as we take it to the top of the hour. Yes.
Endelea mwa. Okay, so tulikuwa tumezungumzia finance na lack of information generally. Na nishaelezea vile tutaanzia vijana ni wapi. Nenda kwa huduma center at least uhudumiwe. Umeelewa, registration kuna hapo agbo desk na utapata information yote. Ya pili ni finance, vile ndugu yangu amesema ni changamoto mkubwa. Ukipata ile SOA LPO utaenda wapi? Ukienda financial institution, Equity ama wapi, wanakuambia security, wanataka logbook na nini. Even hizi ambazo ni government entities hizi ama products pia ni changamoto mkubwa. Ukiangalia kuzo wanakuambia lete title deed and logbook and those stuff. But sisi tuambia at least tuwe na partnership ile ku build trust. Tufungue pamoja company, pesa ikiingia wewe unapata yako, kijana pia aende akapata yake, ama mama na PWDs, hiyo ndio nini moja, ama apewe at least financial system ambazo italeta down payment. Kijana ameenda ananunua hizo materials, anaenda kusupply. Last hivyo the entities hizi iwe mfanya referrals, nenda kwa mahali fulani usupply, then usi handle pesa kwanza, enda uchukue hizo materials supply mahali fulani. Italeta economic inclusion, italeta empowerment kwa vijana na mama na PWDs. Another challenge tuna face ni delay payments. Imagine mtu amefanya kazi kidogo tu, kijana mama, inachukua miaka 2. Sana county government iko na hiyo changamoto sana, at least national government kidogo iko nafuu. So hiyo delay payments pia inafanya kijana awe na nini, una lose morally, na then unaachana na hizo kazi. Kwa nini asilipwe mapema? Tumeweka 30% kama preferences kwa nini tusifanye haraka alipwe, at least ajiempower kijana. Nataka anunue shamba mahali fulani, ama ajisaidie, ama nataka aoe, Mimi mwenyewe pesa zangu za kwanza kuoa nao imetoka kwa agbo, construction. Yes. Ya kwanza kununua gari ndogo ilitoka pale. So inakusaidia at least kama role model kwa vijana. Pia nawaambia mjitume na usiogope, be resilient, na at least urudi pale kila wakati, nenda kwa hiyo procurement every time, nenda. Then another thing ambao na changamoto zaidi pia ni high interest on loans zile. Na kuwa na changamoto pia kwa vijana. Tuwe na policy ambayo itasaidia vijana, at least hizo rate iwe ya chini kabisa, isiwe yote pamoja, na kwa payment mtu wa 5 million alipwa miaka kadhaa kuchelewa, na ile 100 million amejenga analipwa haraka. Hizo loopholes zote na gaps tuziangalie, kama ni policy, kama ni legal framework. I think CSOs na national government na counties, hizo stakeholders hiyo pamoja. Kwa fupi, changamoto ziko na ni nyingi, but tukizungumzia ambazo ni recommendation amba kitu ambao tutasaidia ndio bora zaidi, sio? Need for assessment ama system ambayo ina merge hiyo LPO na LSO financing with the down payment. Hizo ni moja. Pia huyu kijana akishika pesa anakuwa kijana amesema ndugu yangu anachanganyikiwa. Ameshika 500,000 ama 200,000 300, then priorities anaitumia vibaya. So kazi itasimama, unalipa pole kama ni ujenzi, kama ni supplies unalipwa mara moja. So mimi na advice the beginners ambazo wanaanza, anza na supply kidogo stationaries hapo, hizo majezi za sports na nini, pole maji supply hizo hivyo pole, then ndio unaanza na construction works na kazi nyingi. NCA nataka National Construction Authority certificate, those licenses ni pesa pia. Na pia ina expire after 2 years ama muda ina expire, then una renew tena 45,000 30,000 Another changamoto tuko nao ni county level hizi. Ukiwa na certificate ya aima permit, business permit, mimi ambao ni agbo kijana na yule ambao ni anapata ya open tender ama ni construction work kubwa company akona NCA 3 ama 2, anapewa same rate kama ni 30,000 unalipa 30,000. So ni expensive. So tunaomba pia county government ingile hiyo, ipunguze hizo business permit ya agbo na wale ambao ni PWDs wa mama na youth. Those are some of the recommendations ambao tunaomba. Skills, lack of skills. Computer skills ambazo unaenda kwa computer kuangalia, skills za kujaza hizo documents zote inatakana ziwe, kama ni civil society zingie through mentorship and development hizo za skills na entrepreneurship. I think hizo ndio changamoto nyingi ama kidogo. Na pia mimi wakati nilianza kama open tender kwanza. Na ni kazi kubwa 60 million hivi. 60 million ina attract a lot of competitors. Nilipeleka kampuni moja peke yake na tulikuwa na zaidi ya 10 na. I'm sure kuna wengine walipeleka kama 3-4 ile estimate kuangalia bei na nini. Na hiyo moja ndio naambia vijana msiseme ati mimi simjui mtu fulani. Jitume kwanza, bahatisha. Leo ukikosa kesho utapata. Documentation yako angalia vizuri, kila kitu uko sawa. Documentation una serialize number 1 2 3 4, ndio ikitolewa unajua hiyo namba kwa nini imetolewa, unaona. Those are serialization unafanya from 1 to the last pages 1 2 3. Unaweza una haki ya kumuuliza hizo procedures. Tumesema act 227 inakupatia is it fair, equitable, transparency. Nionyeshe kwa nini imekosa hii tenda kumbe documents zatolewa katikati hapo. Lakini siku hizi kuna hizo serialization, lazima userialize 1 2 3 4 5 6 mpaka mwisho. So wewe unajua hizo vitu ya kwamba the basics ones. So usipofanya serialization then you are technically pia umetolewa kwa tender process. Na kama ni hizo PIN number, KRA number za company na compliance tax iwe iko timely, yani kila kitu iko sawa. So ikiwa hivyo sasa the 16 million project kupata ni ngumu, ni competition. Kwa yule mbunge ama yule governor ama mkubwa ashaongea na watu wake pia, it's normal, shareholders wako. Lakini ile siku my friend ikawa sasa mimi ndio engineers washaandika report yao wakasema huyu ndio ameshinda. Hatumjui na ni kweli. Lakini kila kitu iko sawa, estimate yake iko sawa. Ni 16 million vile iko kwa nini yao ni around 17. Nikaenda na engineer wangu wakati ule nikaangalia. So mimi sasa ni engineer pia na naelewa, na niko radhi kusaidia vijana ili wajue hiyo kazi nini. Because hiyo opportunities ni kubwa. Kila mtu ataajiriwa kwa ofisi, unaona? Yes.
That brings the question of, for a youth to benefit or to be part of the programs in YOWPSUD, what or where do I need to go?
For you to benefit from some of these programs, you can also visit our office. So you can come and inquire on anything. We'll be ready to support you as a youth. Our office in Mombasa is located on Moi Avenue, directly opposite Moi University campus, Mombasa. That's where you'll find our Mombasa office. We have another office in Kwale. in Ukunda. It is in Ukunda, and then we are having another office in Kilifi in a month's time. It will be in Kilifi town. That you can inquire anything about any program, if it's peace building, economic empowerment, governance, environmental, and climate change programs. You can come there and we can always help you and also support you. You can also ask questions. If it's on Agpo, we have Twitter Spaces, we have Facebook Live, and we'll try and once in a while have radio programs with Blue Radio, because it's quite a good partner for us, so that we can also share some of this information. We can also bring in experts that can help. For the Twitter Spaces, we bring in experts from the county government, that is procurement departments. We also bring in an officer from the Huduma Center that can help you to apply for these certificates. But also for the youth, I would encourage them. Currently, the system of government is working quite well. We have Gavam Kononi, the Huduma Center. So what is it called? This citizen. E-Citizen. Yes, E-Citizen. So you can go to E-Citizen, you can apply for a company there, and it's a easy process. You pay online. You don't have to go to Huduma Center. You can also apply at home. You just need to find a place where you can cyber or something, but also you can take an initiative and visit some of these business development services agencies from the county government. Like in Kwale, there are business development sites that have been developed in every sub-county. You can go there, you'll not pay anything, you'll just sit with your computer, apply for what you want, and you can also ask questions from the business development officers there. The other thing I would encourage you is in the current economic times that we are living in, do not depend on one skill. Be a jack of all trades. Just try as much as possible to learn as many skills as possible. That will help you to maneuver all around. Ukipata job ya construction, you are able to apply. You know how the estimates work if you want to apply for a tender. If kama ni ya supplies, you know where to get these things. So let us try as much as possible to have so many skills. Ukikuwa na skill moja, itakuwa ngumu. Itakuwa ngumu for you to be able to do some of these things. So as youths, let us have that initiative. There are so many trainings that are ongoing from the civil society, that is NGOs, CBOs. They have trainings that they offer to youth for economic empowerment. Take advantage of these trainings. We have, like now we'll be having, there's a program that was launched by President Ruto lately, or it's called Nyota. So you can go and look up on it's an advancement from the KO program, Nyota. It's to be helping youths to take advantage of the trainings for economic empowerment. Then there is also Coast Development Authority has trainings on entrepreneurship. This will help youths to have that entrepreneurial mind, because currently let us have entrepreneurial mind. Business employment is hard. Jobs hazitoshi. Now you see, unless you are connected or you have a godfather, as they say it. If you have a godfather, that's when you get some of these opportunities. So business is the way to go. Have as many skills as possible, and then you'll be able to maneuver these hard economic times.
Do you have any social media accounts that you can be reached out to?
Yes, our social media accounts is YOWPSUD. All our social media, we have TikTok, and that is YOWPSUD Kenya. We have Twitter, that is YOWPSUD. Facebook is still YOWPSUD, that is Youth and Women for Sustainable, for Youth and Women for Peace and Sustainable Development. For me, if you need to reach out on me, you can find me on Karuana_KE. That is my Twitter handle. On Facebook, it's Modhie Karuana. So you can always find me there, and I can respond to some of the questions. I'll be willing to respond some of these questions.
Oh, what about you, Mr. Ibrahim?
Thank you. Ashazungumza mambo ya YOWPSUD sana.
I think as we wind up.
Yes. Tunawalika vijana. Ofisi yetu iko wazi kila mahali. Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa. So mine is niko kwa social media, namba yangu iko, na pia Facebook ni Ahmed Siad. Kuna Twitter pia Ahmed CEO. so I think hapo ndio na ofisi niko
Yeah.
mashinani niko so hizo ndio kitu ambacho tunasema vijana, seek opportunities, focus, be resilient na kuwa na supportive partners. Thank you.
We appreciate you for coming by. We have a lot of resourceful information, but due to time mazet a limit kidogo. I hope in the near future we'll reassemble tena.
Yes.
Tuongelee nini. To all the youths out there, make use of these kind of foundations that are here to help you out. Usiseme ati hakuna kitu ya kufanya. Maybe wende ujui tu where to get them. Those are the contacts to get to them. As usual, stay tuned to the Breakfast Vibe.